Right, guys, this video is a little bit of a taster of what to expect in my workshop. I have a painting here which I've worked on, and I just want to insert a figure in it just to let you feel, you know, how these things work. Like, I've got a picture here. I'm going to place that picture right here. I've got a picture here. And the picture has a figure in it. You know, it's just a simple figure right there. And I'm just going to insert her into another painting just briefly and see how it works. Okay, so you're just going to be seeing the brush hit the canvas or something, but it's not really going to show that much, but at least it gives you a taster of what to expect in the workshop and how I go about it. So there's a basic figure. I've put in the darks. I've worked on this painting for a while, so I'm gonna just spray it briefly. It's just, I mean, just sparingly, I would say, with retouchable varnish. Just that area where I'm gonna work on. That's it, that would do. That makes the surface kind of ready for the action. And because it might have been a little bit saturated, I'm just going to wipe it a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. That would do. Just a tiny bit. And that would do. Right, so here we go. So it's a lady. She's carrying a dog, right? I don't want her to be too prominent. But I'm going to, she's not wearing green in the picture, but I'm going to make her wear green. Just so it's not a color that's overly stated. And don't want it to gain too much attention, but all the same I still want her to be. So first thing I do is to know where her head's gonna be, right? So her head's gonna be somewhere here, so I'm just marking that, and the frame of her body is just the shape I'm gonna be going for, just the shape, right? And the coat she's wearing, this is why it's good to sketch. This is why I'm continuously advocating for the sketch system. It's amazing. The sketch system always, I'm going to add some ultramarine blue to the Viridian and just get some darker parts of her coat, maybe where the underneath of her arm goes, just somewhere there. But make sure these things are one touch. And then her tights, I'm just going to make them darker, so I've added alizarin to the mixture. And one leg, so one leg's definitely going to come out, but before that leg, let's just say she's wearing a skirt, so that line there is basically the skirt, and then the next bit is just two legs. Very carefully, try not to put feet, just go straight down. One, that would do for one part of the leg, and the other one goes, the angle needs to be right. No fiddle diddle, just really be definite. And the thing about it is practice. There's nothing that can take place of deliberate practice. You've got to be practicing. Right, now, because she is wearing some, I would say some sort of white trainers, and there is a tendency to draw feet, I'm going to briefly make the line a little bit thinner as it goes to the end. And I'm going to insert feet. So I'm going to wash my brush, go into my white. Go into the white. It's got some white on the palette. I know you can't see this, but it is happening. Right, and I'm just going to add some white. So basically, and it's I want you to see the brush I'm using. I make these brushes, like, I'm going to bring it as close as I can, like, if possible, like, okay, here you go. That's it. Okay, back. That's the brush I'm using, right? That makes sense. A very thin brush. I make these brushes myself. I cut them up to suit my purposes. Not that I made the brush, but I carved the brush to suit what I need it for. And then a brief tap, just a brief tap. That would do. The next tap, that would do. Because you want it to feel like it's in action. All right, then she has a little bit of blonde hair. Remember, we knew where, so I'm going to mix a kind of blondie hair, like yellow ochre. Whoops, that just fell. Just make sure I get back into position. I think that's right, there about right. Make sure still have that in position, because those are the elements which I'll be honing on. Okay, I think it was higher than that before, just slightly higher. Yeah, I think that will do. Great. Now, so here we go. So this, the head now, can we get some sort of blondish effect here? The yellow, we can mix that in, slight, and then a lot of, say, white, because you know, you just want to make sure it shows the effect of light. That would do. And again, with that same brush, carefully, I think it will be one stroke. Carefully, just never make the head too big. Just carefully. That will do. And then you need some, say, a little other color just to back it up a bit, because you don't want it to look a little bit too dead. You know, just a little bit of brown. And that would do. And just the right shape, all right? And then she has a backpack which is brownish, light brown, and I'm just going to place that right at the back of her, right at the back here, just one stroke. You see the one stroke? But I'm going to place another stroke again. I'm never overworking this. That would do. And then I notice from the picture, she's wearing a scarf. I'm going to make that a little bit, I'm going to dip into my blue and mix that into my other mixtures and just make that a little bit grayish. There's a scarf right there, just a scarf. All right, that would do. And then I think a hand comes out, so I'm just going to have a hand somewhere. Just a hand somewhere, just something coming out of the coat, just to show, you know, maybe something there. Right, so in a nutshell, that's basically it. And it's simple. These things are quite simple and straightforward. There is nothing much to it. Let's just make sure that the backpack has something to connect it there. And I think I've put this figure in. There's another figure there that's not been completed. I'm just gonna put in some flesh tone to show his head. Just bring his head out a little bit more. That's one figure there. It's one touch. It's gotta be one touch. All right, one arm is there. I would say the other one, this no reference, but this is just being able to sketch on a regular basis. Just one touch, another touch there. All right, and I think that would do. And then I think he's carrying a white bag, so I'm just going to put that white bag right there, just hanging on. Doom. That's it. And some other figures, sometimes you don't really need to make them very much detail. Just hone in on the shapes around them. Now this woman, apparently she has a little dog, and I just want to make sure I put the little dog in. That's tricky, but we can do it, you know, just, it's the shapes, always focusing on the shapes. So she's got, I'm just going to draw a little figure there. That would do. That's for the body. A little bit of brown. I can't even see the head properly, even from the reference, but just a little head would do there. And then the legs, just make them slightly lighter, so you I'm changing the effects a bit, so just a little bit of leg right there, and make sure there's a butt and then another leg right there, and that will do it. And then I just vary the thinnest of lines just to show there's a lid, maybe just a tiny, yeah, that would do. And then right, so I'm continuing. All right, so just a little bit of darker, a bit of a darker color, just somewhere around here. maybe around the head, and maybe around there and there, and around the nozzle, just around the nozzle somewhere there. That we do. Boom. That's it. And there we go. I mean, these for smaller works. Now I've noticed that her shoes are just not working. The white seems to come out, and you remember it's in the shadow, so I'm going to reduce that. It's not good as bright as that, so I'm just going to kill that a bit. Let's kill that a bit. Or actually I'm going to do without that, because it's just not working for me. So just going to need to mix a dark color now and take out some of those, the legs. Just take it out. Really need to mix that dark color, because I just noticed it's a bit distracting. So I'm just gonna have to survive with yeah, just that will do. I've just gone into all that with some color, and I'm gonna come back into it. Just make sure, you know, because if something is disturbing and you got to just get rid of it, please do, because that's what was happening with her leg. And I've just got the right color back again. That will continue. And better without feet. Now just still tempted to put a little bit on, but it's not going to be overstated, just a tiny bit. That's it. That's it. So this time it's not jumping out. And then I think at the side, I think her profile should still show a little bit out of the blonde here. That's it. And that would do. And that's how I would put figures in the painting. Just little dots. Now I'm going to put some little flesh heads in places where the figures are. Like there's two people there. Just going to put really small dots. One there, a hand there, and all these people, yeah, around there, just little heads and little hands. That would do. And that's kind of very briefly, but in the workshop we'll be going into a little bit more detail. So the things we'll be talking about, some of the things we'll be talking about, how linear perspective will help any work. You don't really need to get too deep into it. There's some basic things to remember. How the effect of light and shade actually can bring out the beauty of a painting, understanding light and shade and what it does. Also color, you know, color is deep. There's a lot to it, but it's the simple things like temperature, the value of the color, and the composition. Look, even before I chose this scene, I had to think about the composition. It has to work in an abstract sense. I always say this. The aerial perspective, how far things go and become blurry. Look at how detailed this is. And then when it goes into the shadow, you notice that you can't see much of the detail again. Then the drawing. Oh, the drawing. I'll bring my sketchbooks and, you know, okay, I'm just going to get one from my bag now. I'm going to show you. Just right when I was coming to my studio, you know, this is kind of like the last page. I hope I've got it in the right place. Yep, so here you go. That's the sketchbook. Got it in the right place. And today, just as I was coming to the studio, saw this lady on the train, sketched her. This is the final page. You know, this is the one thing you don't want to miss, is sketching. And I'll share that. I'll bring my sketchbook. So guys, it's on Saturday. Let's work it out. Let's do this thing. Let's make it work. I know you want to see my face, so yes, let's do it!